like how Legos basically are sold is, let's say there are sea creatures. What are the different sea creatures? Whales, sharks, okay, piranha, whatever. Piranha is a river fish anyway, but different kinds of sea creatures. You have Lego sets where kids can go and build a nice whale, blue whale, okay, shark, and so on. Another set is about dinosaurs. Okay, another set is about spacecrafts. Another set is about war heroes, and so on. If you have an idea about a theme, you can propose that idea here, and there is a community of Lego builders. They will approve that idea. If you get 10,000 approvals, then Lego will manufacture this kit and start selling it. Whatever profits it generates, some of the proceeds will go to your account, maybe 30% or 20%. Okay, that is one way to source ideas. You know, crowdsourcing of ideas.
Yes.
Rather than asking or begging for new ideas, they created this website where they are tapping into the creativity of Lego users. They built a very massive community of users, and if there is any challenge, you'll get to know from the comments in that. Okay, there is another SAP, yeah, SAP Enterprise Resource Planning Software from Germany. They have a big community of users, forums. There are any issues you can find out from them very easily. Coding. Harley Davidson. What is Harley Davidson? The motorcycle company. Yeah, motorcycle company was almost declining early 2000s. They came up with this community, and there are big fans of these old motorcycles which look like
Classic.
macho type of motorcycles, and there are communities of bikers, and then they found out what was going wrong. They tried to change things. It's a very strong community of users. Because of the beauty in the product or whatever it is that you are seeking, people form into groups and then they kind of discuss about it. The companies tap into it and keep it alive because these are the repeat customers for the business. They want to keep in touch with their customers. That is how you build relationship with your customers. Okay, co-creation. What is co-creation? You are creating it alongside the company, your product or service. And for example, think of Amazon book reviews. Okay, once you buy a book from a bookshop, let's say you go to Gwalior station, there's a bookstore, you bought a book and you came out. Okay, you read the book. Where would you exchange your ideas about that book? Basically, you can write on Quora, but in the days where there was no Quora, but the seller doesn't get to know whether it's a good book or bad book. Amazon gets to know whether it is a good book or bad book based on the reviews you provide on Amazon. And Amazon tries to boost the sales of these books or curtail the sales of these books if they are bad. They can do both. Okay, so that is one other way to stay in touch with the customers and know what customers are thinking about a certain product or service. Okay, same happens with YouTube. How do you write emails to YouTube anytime? You just post comments on YouTube videos. I think YouTube has the single biggest pool of comments which they can do sentiment analysis on, understanding. And this is something that we cannot say on record, but I think there is a lot that could happen in the back end when people know what is the mood of a particular nation or a particular geography and how things can be manipulated to their ends in political circles, electioneering. IKEA. So there are design workshops which involve customers. Okay. Enthusiastic customers who have time, who get email notifications saying there's an open workshop going on. You can go to IKEA and then you can provide ideas on how you are trying to use a particular piece of furniture and how it can be enhanced. They are keeping in touch with the customers. They are building products for customers that are functional, cheap, okay, and very trendy. Right? So this is where we are in terms of channels and customer relationships. Let me take a look at the time and then we can take a quick break. Yeah, we are almost leaving 11:30. So let's summarize very quickly what we did in the first session. We talked about the value proposition canvas once over. We listened to all the 4 ideas which are looking really good for starters, and we are here to organically improve them over the next few days. Okay, and we focused on value propositions and customer segments yesterday, and you tried to factor that into your presentations today. This morning we learnt about channels, how you reach out to your customers, and then customer relationships, how you keep in touch with your customers so that you boost your sales, right? Next off, after coming back, we'll focus on revenue streams, okay, and key resources, and then we'll call it a day there, and then we'll start working back on your value proposition canvas. One of you have done the value proposition canvas already. I identified some improvements which I'll notify. For those who have not started value proposition canvas, let's take a look at that. Then we go back to the remaining 4 blocks and start using the canvas, Miro canvas. Yeah? Excellent. Shall we come back in 15 minutes? Yeah. Let's take up until by tomorrow morning session. We will have covered all the blocks. Okay? So far we covered 4. This is 5th and the next one is 6th. Remaining will be 3 blocks. We'll cover them entirely. By the end of these 9 blocks, we will have done 2.5 days in our module, 5-day module. So that is the half point mark. After the half point mark, we will change the gear. Okay, we'll go almost into top gear. We'll start dissecting our business models. We'll learn how to improve this existing business model. We'll learn how to compare it with other business models. Okay, we'll learn how to ideate, come up with better business models, understand different patterns in business models. That we will do once we get a holistic idea on how to build a business model canvas. Okay, up until tomorrow afternoon, we have time to understand business model canvas in its entirety with every single block. So today, those who are presenting customer segments to me, it was impressive that you used the terminology that we were talking about yesterday. For value propositions, I have not seen anyone use any terminology at all, apart from 1 or 2 very odd instances. You need to use that. You need to use it as a prop, as a support mechanism to specify to your customer what is the value that you're providing to them. Okay. Now, revenue streams. Revenue streams are a very, very important and fundamental block for any business. Okay. You call this finances, you call this the payment structure for your services. Okay. So, there are roughly 2 different types of revenues. One is transaction revenue, which means one-time customer payment. I buy this, it's over. I'm not paying any more money to the service provider or product provider. And recurring revenues. Recurring revenues is maybe I buy this one off and then I'm still continuing to pay for maintaining this item. Can anyone give me an example of recurring revenues?
Subscription services.
Subscription services, monthly charges,
EMIs. Cartridge for printer.
EMIs, I'll stop the cartridge for printer. Good. EMIs, right. What is an EMI? EMI is like, let's say the car is worth 10 lakh rupees. You paid 2 lakhs down, and then for 8 lakhs you took a loan, and then you're paying it. But what service are you getting as part of the EMI? You're not getting any service, right? It is not even a subscription. It is an easy monthly installment just to pay for it in regular installments to finish off the bill. There is no service you're getting. But if somebody undertakes the maintenance of the car as well, okay, if they keep it in condition regularly, regular services also part of the plan that you're paying for monthly, then that is a recurring payment that you're making or subscription that you're paying for to get something more. But in EMI, you're not getting anything more. You're just breaking down the entire sum of the product's price and paying it in easy monthly installments. Okay, so EMI is not part of recurring revenues unless you are paying for some service. Okay, if basically customers are at the heart of the business model, let us say. Okay, heart needs to pump its blood, right? Okay, so arteries are the tubes which carry blood to all parts of the body, right? So your revenue streams are like arteries. They are extremely important. Without revenue streams, business cannot survive. Okay, there are freemium companies which start as freemium, no payment, but slowly they lock you into a model where you are regularly paying. Give me examples of such. YouTube. Okay. Somebody is Amazon Prime, Spotify. Amazon Prime, are you watching ads these days on Amazon Prime? Increasingly frustrating, right?
Next layer.
Okay. Asset sale is one of the most common types of revenue stream. Where does asset sale come from? Let's start with company A. Okay. Are you selling any assets to your customers?
No, sir.
No. What is the car then? Is it an asset or is it just a subscription for a product? It is a product. Who is getting the fee for that product? For example, who is getting the large chunk of money to buy that product to get it off the showroom?
So the showrooms.
Showrooms.
Because they'll be responsible for maintenance, they'll be responsible for insurance claims in case we have to make any, and they'll be also responsible for the type of model that is provided to the customers. Maybe there's a variation in a different type of car model, so that would be there.
Asset sale is something that you sell the ownership right. Are you selling the ownership right?
No, sir. So after 5 years, they have to return.
Okay. The car still belongs to the showroom.
Yes, sir.
Good. That is not an asset sale then. We'll go to the next slide to discuss what it is. Anyone selling an asset here? What is your business model? It is an app.
We are providing a service.
Your business model is a
We are
service.
providing service.
Your business model is a service. Did you buy anything that is an asset that you bought and you owned it in recent times? Mobile. Your computers, mobile phones, all consumer electronics, basically. Okay. So, Amazon.com is selling assets also, books that you own. Okay. Once the return period is over, any consumer electronics. It's a car manufacturing company. It sells automobiles, which buyers pay high price and buy it. Maruti Suzuki does the same. Okay, Ford does the same. Any given automobile company does the same. Okay, it's very simple. It is very traditional. This is the way we work basically. You go to shop and buy some groceries used by consumer. That's all. What is usage fee model? Usage fee model is about you are paying for the time you use it. Okay, right? What are examples?
Mobile charge for electricity,
Electricity.
for gas.
Gas. Yeah. Telecommunications. Parking services, very interesting. The more time you park, you pay more. Hotel rooms, the more time you stay, you pay. Yeah, hotel rooms. Any more examples of usage fee? You're paying for usage.
Amusement parks.
Amusement park, you pay once. Will you pay for every single ride?
Yes, sometimes.
Sometimes. You can still get an unlimited ticket to go on any number of rides also.
Individuals can be.
Subscription fees. How is this different from usage? Usage.
It is for a particular period of time.
Mm.
Even if you use it once.
Yeah. Subscription fee is probably unlimited usage for a period of time, and this might not relate to physical assets. It might mostly be digital assets, right? So-
Sir, there is one physical asset, like when I was studying about the kind of business model we'll operate, I came across Maruti Suzuki, which allows rental car services. So there are different variants of cars, both in petrol and diesel, and based on the time period, based on the kilometers that we want to own, we can actually get a car that will be with me. I use it or not depends upon me, but there will be a fee that I have to pay on a monthly basis.
Agree.
So rental ACs.
Rental AC. So air conditioning as a service. Yeah. If you flip it over, heating as a service. Go on.
Gym services.
Gym subscription, right? Health club membership. See, you imagine something, it appears on screen. That is also a service. Okay. What else?
Club membership.
Yeah, health club membership, gym membership. All of these are subscriptions, right? But they are digital assets. You need to have a display unit though. It could be your phone or it could be your TV or whatever. You know, these days if you buy assets like TVs, they come with a 1 year free subscription.
Yes.
Otherwise your TV is useless without Amazon Prime. As if, you know, they advertise it that way. Lending, renting, leasing, very common, very regular streams of revenue. You have a extra spare room, you rent it out. You have a building for commercial purposes, you lease it out for a few years. Okay, what is the difference between renting and leasing? Leasing is perhaps long term, okay, and they look after everything. Lending is probably financial resources also. So it is about temporarily granting someone the exclusive right to use a certain asset for a fixed period in return for a fee. We looked at bike rental. Yeah. What is the difference between Uber and this one then? Uber is what? Where would you fit Uber? Huh?
Usage fee or subscription.
Usage fee or but you're not paying anything regularly to Uber.
But whenever you are using that, then only you are paying usage fee.
Here, you are the one who is running this service, and you're co-creating the experience of running this service yourself. Here also there is no driver for Zipcar, you are the driver. You unlock it using a card or QR code, and then Zoom. Self-drive cars here. These are all very tried and tested models in the West. Yeah. Probably new to us, but offering a lot of convenience to customers either way. Licensing. You own a piece of software and you are allowing others to use. Where does this happen?
So Microsoft.
Microsoft is a killer of a product or service, isn't it? They invested into research and development for years. They mastered a product, a software product. Now the whole world uses it. Yeah. Business model should be like that. Okay, something that is universal, everyone uses it, and it's been happening for 30 plus years now. Microsoft Windows, right? Yesterday we were trying to use Mural. They gave me 3 free canvases. Okay. After that, they are charging me a fee. That is also license fee that I gave. Adobe. Yeah. What is it?
Tally software for
Tally. SAP ERP solutions. Yeah. There are companies which customize this SAP software for business use. SAP does not do it on its own. SAP only provides platform support for a particular product. But other companies like Infosys, TCS, name it, Capgemini, any other company, there are experts within those companies who can install, customize this software for clients. And they charge a license fee for these businesses. Who pays for the license fee basically? So there are three parties here. One is the product developer, which is SAP, right? And there are companies or consultancies which use this software to install it on clients' machines or systems. Who is ultimately paying for the software license? End client? And what about this company? Is the product developer getting any revenues from this company, Infosys or TCS? There are many different versions of the software. Perhaps for you to use and your company people to train on it and customize it, do user acceptance testing, use the build environment on it, they are paying a license fee too. Okay? Client ultimately is paying the license fee for the time they use this for, after which the license will expire. Okay? So this company is getting revenues from both the companies. What about brokerage fee? This is also one kind of revenue for companies. What is brokerage fee? Brokerage fee comes from real estate agents who probably sell an asset and take a cut for out of the total value of the property. Okay, this happens in investment management also. As a stockbroker, you take funds from an investor, you invest it in the right kind of shares, and then once the value of the shares grow, you get a cut for that as an incentive. Okay, these are different streams of revenues, different business models use. Okay. Revenue streams also comprising of advertisement revenue. Okay, so online TV or radio. If you have a channel, basically, if it is popular enough, there's a spectatorship of, let's say, 1 lakh people. Somebody will want to advertise something, and that is one stream of revenue for you. For TV channels, there is probably no other stream of revenue other than advertisement itself. So there are businesses which simply thrive on advertisement revenue. One of the examples being Google, thriving on just one source of revenue, that is advertisement revenue. And what it takes for you to start getting this advertisement revenue as a business, you should gain popularity. Okay. People should use it. When will people start using it? Again, in your business model, you have to reach out using your customer channels to many customers. You have to maintain these relationships. You have to have a solid value proposition, and you should break down this into your customer segments. When all of this is working fine, then your user base is growing. When your user base is growing, people want to throw up their advertisements so that it reaches out to many people. We pay a very small price for newspapers, okay? But in UK, I don't know if you have free newspapers here. In UK, in some other countries where I've been, in trains, wherever you go, you have a basket for newspapers. You can pick up a newspaper, read it. It's for free. It's like Metro. You don't have to pay anything, like you don't pay anything for Google. All of their revenues are coming from advertisements only, and they are just surviving based on that. They're not asking users to pay any price at all. It's still very easy for users, but you get to read all biased news in there. More than 40% of them are advertisements. Okay, how do you strike the balance between quality in terms of providing what customer wants versus not charging them, making it cheaper? This is always the challenge, right? Okay, if you have to maintain quality, if you want to watch a test match without any interruption, without any breaks, someone should be taking a hit somewhere. Okay. eBay advertising is solely about advertising, basically. Like there are other apps in UK. We have what is called Gumtree, classifieds, online classifieds. They are only about advertising. The whole app or the website is about advertising. If you have something to share or sell, you post it there. How are they getting revenues? On advertisement platform, there is nothing else others could advertise, right? You are advertising, and you are the one who might end up paying something. Okay, if you advertise your car, for example, it's sold for, let's say, a used car 2 lakhs. They charge a fee of 2% after the sale. So that is their revenue. So advertisement revenues are based on the value that you ultimately get for selling your product also. Ads. Shall we take a look how Google Ads work? Yeah,
Yes, sir.
let's take a look. There was an interesting video that was shared by Google. I saved this. It's a very short video that you have virtual learning platform where you can access things here. You have a web link for your courses. No? What happened to the voice? Okay, it's working there, but it's not playing here.
So maybe in starting there is no voice.
Let's see.
Hi, I'm Nandu Janakaram, a product manager at Google. In this video series, we're talking about key aspects of Google Business and how they affect you, our users. Today, I'd like to talk about ads. You know those text ads you sometimes see on your search results page? How do they get there, and what's their value to you? Well, people do web searches for three basic reasons. Entertainment, for instance, what's this morning's Hollywood gossip? Enlightenment, what did 19th century critics really think about Hamlet? And most frequently, information. Who can I call to deliver flowers to my mother right now in Mesa, Arizona? When you do a web search, you see ads on your results page only when we believe they further one of those three aims. If we can't find ads that will truly complement your regular search results, we won't show you any ads, period. But often ads really do offer meaningful information. Suppose, for instance, I do my search on Flower Shop Mesa, Arizona. Here's my results page. Google search results are always ranked completely impartially by computer algorithm. Nobody can pay Google to improve their position on our results page. But advertisers can bid to have their ads placed up here and over here. Take Sarah, for example. Sarah owns a boutique flower shop in Mesa, Arizona. At any given moment, she wants her ads to reach the handful of people who are most interested in, well, flower shops in Mesa, Arizona. People like me. The moment I do my search is what we call a moment of relevance. When Sarah's ad appears on my search results page, it might very well be exactly the information I'm looking for. And if I click on it, I'll go straight to her website, and she'll pay Google for that click, based on how much she bid to appear in that spot. The more that users like me vote for Sarah's ad with our clicks, the more likely Google is to give it a prominent placement in future moments of relevance. At every step of the way, our system is designed to reward advertisers for creating ads that people actually find useful. Like if I need to find a last-minute gift for my mom's birthday. Thanks for watching this video. I hope it gave...
We'll dissect that slowly, as to how that happens basically, but a lot of what was said might not be even equally true, okay? Something happens in the back end with the PageRank algorithm, which we all are kept in the dark about. It could be a black box, not as transparent as being disclosed by people like we do. Okay, so what sort of questions are we asking when we are building our revenue streams? Okay, what are our customers really willing to pay for? Take the case of Unburden. Unburden, what are customers willing to pay for in your case? Customers are willing to pay to get some jobs done, okay? But how much are they willing to pay? Should that be closer to what a regular person would spend time accordingly on? For example, shopping for groceries takes, let's say, 2 hours time. What is the minimum wage rate for hour in India? Is there an hourly minimum wage rate? Do you know? Is there a daily minimum wage rate? How much?
500.
500. Divide that by working hours of 8. What is it?
40.
55 rupees? Something like that. For 2 hours you spend 110 rupees or something. Yeah? That is your time. What else is involved in that costing? Travel to the grocery store. Travel charges are involved. So can you get it as close as possible to the national minimum wage rate when you are charging for this kind of services to help your mother with groceries or help your father with making holes in the wall? What incentive would be there than go and work in a construction environment for them if you are paying just the national minimum wage? It should be more than that, right? So how would you determine the price for your product or service, right? More than that, it is about how much customers are willing to pay. But how do you know about their willingness to pay unless you know about an alternative? Isn't it? If there are no alternatives at all, customers are willing to pay any price to get it done, if there is no alternative. At the middle of the night, Uber knows that there are no cars nearby in the vicinity, 10 kilometers radius. There is only one car. They charge me extortionate amount of price to get that car to me. And they even ask, do you want to tip them so much to summon that car? When you have no alternatives at all, your price point can be as high as possible. And what are the ways in which customers are paying for this? Today in India, because of this universal payments interface, is that right, UPI? Yeah.
United.
Unified payments interface. Thank you. It's become very easy to pay. Even at a corner vegetable market, you can simply pay using your phone. So that is not the case in any other part of the world. You'll be surprised to know. You can use your contactless card, but the vendor might not have a contactless card machine. Plastic. So still cash is prominently used in transactions. And how would they prefer to pay? How are they currently paying and how would they prefer to pay? Everybody would prefer to pay by PhonePe. Unless you have other sources of income which you don't want to disclose to the state and only use cash to spend that money. Finally, how much does each revenue stream contribute to overall revenues? Okay. Maybe you can ramp up on certain revenue streams. You can completely get rid of that particular revenue stream. Okay. If your asset sale is very, very low, for example, Rolls-Royce engines are only rented power by the hour. Okay. Asset sale was there, very few people want to buy it off outright. So you might almost want to close that revenue stream and only sell your engines on power by the hour model. So we looked at essence of revenue streams and various ways in which companies generate their revenues. Now, consider how any business, in your own experience, structure their revenue streams. Think about how your business idea can use some of the ideas we discussed in terms of revenue streams. Okay, if there are any relevant revenue streams that you want to pick and use, please feel free to do so. Okay, we'll do this one block and then we'll finalize for today, and then we'll discuss. Okay, at least 20-25 minutes. We want to spend some time using Mural to populate all the blocks. Okay, so key resources are essential in order to carry out your business operations. In order to reach out to your customers, first of all, in order to develop this product or services, you need resources. How many different types of resources are there and how you place these resources is what we are going to discuss. Okay. Sometimes key resources of the business can be owned by the business or they can be leased. Okay. Again, in the case of Unburden, your key resources are people, but they are not your people. You are not employing them. You are not paying them. This is a gig economy. Remember, what is a gig economy? These jobs that people are doing by spending their time are called gigs. Gig is like a music show. Okay, 1 hour, 2 hours. They are there. They set up the whole environment, music instruments. They play the gig. Once it is done, everything is packed and they are gone. They are not there the next minute. Here also, people are getting used to doing jobs for a specific time period instance, okay, as situation demands. I know many students who are running Uber cabs, let's say in Hyderabad. Next minute they are in their college doing stuff, but they own a car or they rent a car, do whatever like, but they are doing a gig. If there is a call on their phone, as in their notification on their phone which they want to take up because it's on their way to home, they can drop somebody and get some money out of it. That's a gig. So in the gig economy, you will not probably own any assets. You're not fully employed. You're working on 0-hour contracts. 0-hour contract means you're not contracted for any number of hours at all. If you like it, you do it, otherwise you don't. So this is where we are heading to, or in fact we are in this. It's called the gig economy. Okay. There are many, as MBA students you need to know this, even PhD scholars. Gig economy is a very, very interesting phenomenon in recent times which has implications for the way you manage human resources, okay, for the way you motivate your employees, because in traditional setup, motivation is your salary, okay, or motivation is the work environment. But here there is no work environment. All they see is the road all the time, and the Uber driver sees the road. Okay, sometimes they don't even have toilet facilities to relieve themselves. Okay, so there is mounting criticism on this kind of jobs in the gig economy. If people are sort of very needy, not greedy, they want to earn more, they might go without a break for very long, which impacts their health also in the gig economy. So regulation should be tightened in order to make sure people are living a healthier, a comfortable lifestyle, yet getting paid for the time they spend in the economy. Okay. So what are key resources basically in any system, in any organization? Firstly, we start with physical resources. What is the key resource for teaching at IIIT? Physical classrooms.
Teachers.
Physical assets, not human assets.
Okay.
Physical assets. We'll go to human assets.
Posters.
Whiteboards.
One at a time. Whiteboards.
Whiteboards.
Okay. All the things that you see around in a classroom. Classroom equipment.
Posters. Hostels.
Okay. Hostels. Yeah.
AC classrooms.
AC classrooms. Okay.
Internet connectivity.
A whole physical space in the campus roads. Okay. So many other fixed assets are there here. I think the campus is developing, further now. They are trying to build some more stuff out there. New hostels. What is coming up next to MDP? It's like a
Underweight management.
Subway.
Under-
We are having two pockets, pocket A and pocket B, so we are connecting to underpass.
Is it going under the main road?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I see. The other campus is on the outside.
Yes, sir.
Other side of the road.
Yes, sir.
That is just a residential apartment over there.
Is that where you walk from to come here? Some of you.
First year students live there.
I see. So they are going to classes even later than you, because they're living outside of the campus. Yeah. Good. At least you can expect students to come to class much earlier if the underpass is built, no? But not that. I think they are trying to avoid all sorts of inconvenience for students. It's a great initiative. It's looking beautiful. What other initiatives are coming up? Physical infrastructure.
And so
One
building
voice
500 capacity also.
Voice hostel.
Okay. What about more? No need for more girls' hostels.
There is extension for girls hostel also, 250 capacity. It is coming up. And two more boys hostels are coming up with capacity of 500. Then new faculty apartment is coming up, probably 6-story building is coming up. Then some staff quarters are also coming up. New swimming pool is coming up. Then one more lecture hall complex is coming up. Probably there we will have a lecture hall of a capacity of around 150 plus. 150 and probably one will be around 300 capacity.
What is the biggest auditorium capacity, sir?
Here we have the biggest auditorium capacity 1200. We have two auditoriums, one is 1200 capacity and another one is, which is relatively old, its capacity is around 375.
Amazing. You can easily attract faculty from all parts of the world. Once this campus is built, I think you should be on the lookout for faculty who want to move here and have a go at these facilities. So take a look at any grocery store. Okay. What are the physical assets they have?
So the shelves for keeping materials, then the counter,
The building itself. No?
Building.
Building itself.
Even if you see, if you're talking about this resources physical, this room is built by me.
Yeah.
Just probably 6 months ago.
Yeah.
You will not see single wire in any
It's all
wall.
hidden. It's all hidden.
All are hidden,
Amazing.
not a single wire.
I think you are inspired a little bit by your visits to UK and other parts of the world. You're using these wooden slats.
I have
Which you
visited
enhance-
around 35 countries. Almost whole of Europe,
Yeah.
then Australia, this part, Singapore.
Yeah. This is a very classy look that we see more often in the
I am
UK.
always in search of classic.
See, this is not necessary, but something that is good to have to enhance the experience of students and faculty members. when
See,
you are
in
in this.
services we say we offer service as a package. And one of the element of service package is physical infrastructure.
What are other elements of service quality? Tangibles. There are several intangibles. The reliability on that service, responsiveness to that service. Durability is not part of service. Durability is
Service
the
quality
products.
has essentially 5 elements. call it TEARR. TEARR. Tangibility, empathy, assurance, reliability, and responsiveness. All these softer elements can be represented in these 5 elements. They may vary from sector to sector. In healthcare, assurance means different thing. In education, assurance means different thing. Similarly, reliability takes a different shape in one sector, in another sector it will take another shape. So this becomes very important because nowadays whatever whole economy is a service economy. In Western world, around 80 to 90% of the GDP is coming from services. And for emerging economies, we are relatively less in number. Still it is a manufacturing driven society. In China, if you say manufacturing's contribution in GDP is around 30%. In Malaysia also it is 30-35%. In India it is around 17-18%. So services are very important, and now we are saying only thing which exists, but this is way of looking at things, how you are presenting it. Only thing which is delivered, which is service. Even product don't exist, product is only a means to offer a service. Earlier we used to say we have a main thing is product and service is just a supplementary thing in the form of after-sales service. So your SOA model, service as a software as a service, software as an architecture is also coming in manufacturing as a service. So service has become some sort of what we call overarching framework for business purposes.
Very valuable information, you know. This is a sum total of reading so many books and understanding and having a holistic picture of how things are working. True to what sir was saying, all 4 business models that we came up with are service-based models. Why? We probably don't need any more products where we are. We need more convenience. We need more ways how these products can reach out to customers. Okay, that is why services are growing in number. Services are easy to think about. Okay,
Low cost.
think about what else do you need in this room. What else is physically missing in this room? There are seats that are comfy, cushy to sit down. There's a desk, pens and papers. There's a board. It's really good, very, you know, high-tech sort of a board. Video conferencing facilities. Do you need anything more in this room physically?
So microphone.
Microphones. Okay, we can supply microphones. That's not a problem. Simply, you cannot design microphones new. You can just buy it and use it. Okay, microphones are there.
So connected laptops.
How?
So with the screen that we don't need to put our laptops to the room.
Yeah.
So we will easily manage the things.
Okay. Can you go and buy that in the shop? You're talking about a console station, right? It's like a, what is it called? Plug and play device, something like that. Sometimes you don't need to, you don't get to buy them. They are not available. You need to get them designed by tech companies, which then sell it as a service to you, because there will be some maintenance required from time to time, updating and so on. They come and do it on a regular basis. That turns into a service. Very hardly you find any physical, tangible goods that have to be designed afresh, new. Of course there are, not saying there aren't, but most of them, most of the products we use require servicing. Okay, reaching out to how conveniently customers can be made to use these, rather than just sell an asset one-off, finish the transaction. For Amazon, what is the physical resource? Key resource. What is Amazon? Before warehouses, even before all of this is happening, Amazon opened up as an electronic bookstore. Just a web page. To maintain a web page, you need a software platform. So it is a platform-based business. Most of the effort that the company is spending is going into maintaining this platform. That is how they went and built these servers and server farms, and they made a business out of selling these memory buckets to companies called this another stream of service, Amazon Web Services. Okay. Then came physical infrastructure like warehouses and other logistics infrastructure. These are physical resources. Okay. Most businesses have this physical infrastructure. Unburden is one interesting business where you might not have any physical infrastructure at all, but you might have to store all your data in a place, physical server, or you don't even have to do that now because of cloud services. You might not even need to have an office space, rent it out. No physical resource required. You can operate from where you are sitting. But once in a while you need to meet up and chat. Then you can use offices on the go or whatever you call it. Distributed offices, rental spaces. Right? Think of what physical assets you need for your business, because physical assets turn into fixed assets most of the time. And fixed and variable costs will play a key role in your cost structure, which we'll learn about tomorrow. Okay. Intellectual resources. Think about what are the intellectual resources for your business. Intellectual resources are intellectual property, IP. Okay. The copyrights that you have over your IP. IP takes a lot of time to build. So if you looked at the example of Windows, it took years to build, still they are building it. Once you build, think of the kind of mass penetration it has in terms of licensing fee that you can get for your IP. Okay. Yeah. SAP and Microsoft have intellectual property. Other drug manufacturers like whatnot, Ranbaxy, okay, Reddy's Laboratories, Bharat Biotech, they all have intellectual property which cannot be shared by others. If you want it, you have to pay for it. Qualcomm, they design silicon chips, like whatever you use in your computers now, processing units. There are others like NVIDIA which use GPU, graphical processing units. That is even more premium. Okay? So that is their intellectual property. It's very hard to imitate or copy. Is there any intellectual property in your idea that you want to? If it is an intellectual property, you are thriving on it by turning it into some sort of revenue model. In 4 of these business ideas, do you have an intellectual property? What is it?
Idea can be used with the logo
Logo can be made very simply these days, very easy to make a logo. Something that is hard to imitate. Something you should be afraid about, that if information is stolen, you will go out of business because competition can rise. They can take away your market share. All of your businesses are easily imitable. Any
the database is it
good, very
because
good.
if it spread, it will be anonymous.
Yeah. That's one thing that is debatable. The kind of data. That's your digital asset, but you cannot have IP over it because you are not getting that data by yourself. You are aggregating that data from multiple places.
So, but the aggregation that we have done, it could be intellectual property.
Yeah, as long as others cannot simulate it or others cannot access it.
Otherwise, in India, if we launch some business, the other day the other person launch
Yeah.
the same business with the aggregation we have done. So,
Then think about how Ola and Uber are competing against each other. What specific data resources do they have, or what data resources do they share?
because most of the time the delivery partners, they are taking orders from the Zomato itself, Swiggy itself, they are getting their revenue from both the sides. And in their t-shirt also, in their bike there is written Swiggy, and their t-shirt of they are wearing of Zomato.
So that is called competitive advantage basically. One competitive advantage is you cannot have resources that are imitable. Okay? So if others can imitate, then you lost your competitive advantage. But this is a new age setup where there is more demand. They don't mind as long as they share some of these revenue streams between two companies, and there is lack of resources also lack of people who can exclusively work for Zomato and who can exclusively work for Swiggy. Key human resources. What are the human resources at Triple IT? So these two are different companies, okay? McKinsey is a very knowledge-intensive company. They are into consulting. Everything they do is dependent on their key human resources who are consultants. People like you who pass out of very good colleges, who have MBAs, they can apply for companies like McKinsey or the likes, and you get to learn about the business in the first 1 or 2 years, then you turn into a consultant and you reach out to businesses, you try to solve their problems. Everything happens through human resources. If you take away human from McKinsey, there is no service that is happening on the ground at all. On the other hand, Novartis is a pharmaceutical company which manufactures tablets. They need scientists for formulation. If you take away scientists, again, things might not work. Where can you replace a human in any of the existing services that you are working on, or things that you have observed before? Someone is doing there, come on, quick. You're replacing a human, the middle part, self-checkout. Yeah? So you are turning what was a personalized service, personalized assistance into automated. So what about the human resources for your business?
Sir, for database of only handling, we need a database engineer and a cybersecurity person who will look into the personal details. And third, for streamlining all the processes, the app is currently working or not, or it has some glitches or not. So backend developer is also backend and frontend.
One of my friends used to work for this company called Gap. You know, Gap. Asked, you are a techie, what are you doing at Gap? Why look after their systems, basically. There's a very big intake of software engineers at that company. There are many such companies who have internal IT operations because most of them are direct sales through website. They have to maintain their platform. Similarly, Amazon, although they are a retailer, most of their intake human resource is in technology. Okay. Think of any such things today because of the level of digitalization. In the maturity of moving to Industry 4.0. Have you heard of this term, Industry 4.0?
Yes.
The fourth industrial revolution, right? You have 3 steps. One is digitization, which is turning paper into usable digital information, scanning them and able to retrieve them. Other one is digitalization, which is group of technologies put together to add more advantage. Then the third one is digital transformation. Yeah. In digital transformation, you are using, for example, ML, machine learning, AI algorithms to generate insights from data. Okay. So we are in the phase of digital transformation. We are using multiple technologies to gain competitive advantage faster, quicker than your competition. So in order to make that happen, you need intellectual people, okay, human resources, knowledge-intensive environments. So can you tell me of any service that does not use technology at all?
I think the grocery shop.
They are also
But not how it's
Quite a few. Quite a few. Now think of any business that is not using technology. What is the potential or scope for it to use technology to improve the operations? Dabbawala was written up as a case study in Harvard long time ago, early parts of 2000. I read it in Still Teacher. Very interesting case study. Can Dabbawala use technology?
No, sir.
Can?
Pressure.
To students we said one more case study we read was Lijjat Papad. The women's made papad through economies of scale in India, and it is a billion-dollar business in India without technology or without any online service.
Okay. Key resources can be financial also. You can use finance as a resource. How? For example, IKEA. Okay. So IKEA is a retailer, right? IKEA has a big showroom, which is also back-end warehouse. People go there and shop. If you went there and you wanted a sofa set, fine, but you also wanted a dining set, you don't have the money for it, you can instantly apply for IKEA credit. Sometimes there is interest-free credit. So what IKEA is doing is using its financial resources, cash, to fund customers to buy more. They are also incentivizing them without interest. So you just pay in easy monthly installments with 0% interest. So they are provoking customers to buy more. And more cash is flowing into their business. As more customers go on credit monthly, you're getting certain amount of money. But this is only possible for cash-rich businesses. Okay, you elevate yourself to a certain degree or level in some time, and then you have surplus cash which you want to reinvest into your company by allowing customers to buy. Okay. What does Apple do? Apple needs intellectual people like you, who studied in IITs, IITs, who have very solid grounding on technology, emerging technologies, ability to code. I was surprised when Madam was saying today that you are learning to do some AI-based coding, Python-based.
Yes.
Why would MBAs need that? In 5 years ago, MBAs were not learning to code. Show me one MBA degree holder who can do programming. People escape programming, basically. Why are you learning to code? You will become irrelevant if you don't know coding. Not that you will go and build programs. Okay. Generative AI can build programs better than human beings nowadays. You need to fine tune it, but you need to know what to ask of it. You need to know how the peers you are going to manage, your colleagues, are building these software applications. You need to have an upper hand, an understanding of how things are moving. Without it, you will become irrelevant in workplace. So, Apple will incentivize employees by providing them stock options. It is using its financial resources as a company not to get more customers, but to get more better employees. You will be very surprised to know how people get paid in Apple in the US. There is a base component salary, okay, and a lot of it is coming from stock options. Some part of salary comes to your account every month, but a lot of it is their invested stocks. Okay, so you can realize that in 3 years' time, 4 years' time, if you're there for 4 years or 5 years in that company, they're locking you in. Most companies have high attrition rate. Knowledge-intensive organizations have higher attrition rates because people who work there are autonomous, highly skilled, critical thinkers. You can't stop them by putting in conditions. These are called elevator assets. Your assets of the company are moving down and up the elevator every day. They come to your office in the elevator. They go down in the elevator, and you never know whether they come back up tomorrow or not. So this is a very interesting analogy, right? They are saying your assets are elevator assets. They are moving up and down. They are never stable. They can choose not to come to you next day. So how would you keep them glued to your company? How would you attract them, retain them? Just like you retain and acquire customers, acquire and retain customers, and make them do more, buy more. So make them productive, your employees, by providing them stock options. I think Apple has one of the highest paid jobs in the market. All the FAANG companies, as you call them fashionably, Facebook or Meta, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, Google, Cisco, Nvidia's, very high paychecks. Otherwise, people won't stay with them. What happens if people won't work for them? That is one problem. They don't work for them, they can't be more productive, they can't come up with new ideas. But if they go and work for your competitor, it's a big problem. What is happening to OpenAI now? OpenAI's CEO was ousted. Microsoft wanted to exert more control over the company. Tesla was saying, Elon Musk was saying, no, this is all you can't do. It's not a profitable company that is working for profit. It was started as a consortium to advance technologies.
So their employees make perplexity.
Perplexity.
Their employees.
Yes. Some Indian was.
So now employees are making AIs.
This happens a lot in the Silicon Valley. Earlier, there used to be one very interesting story. I don't know how far it is true. Some companies simply used to hire PhDs and then keep them on bench for very long. Why would anyone want? Can't they forecast that this guy does not have work for next foreseeable future, like 6 months or 1 year? But they still hire them and keep them because they can't let them go to their competitor. Okay, so you're investing in your company back by using financial resources. Financial resources are, this is one very interesting way of using your financial resources to maintain competitive advantage in the market. Right? What sort of questions are you going to ask when you're building your key resources? What are the key resources you need? Number one, deliver a value proposition, to form our distribution channels, to build customer relationships, to establish revenue. These are all based on financial resources, right? Every single thing needs finance behind it. Even for you to sit for 4 hours and ideate, think about something new, I need to compensate you for that 4 hours. Not students, if you are professionals. Yeah. Otherwise, why would you freely come and volunteer to spend that time? Even for coming up with value propositions, you need to spend your financial resources. You need to pay. Okay. So far we looked at 4 core building blocks today, including what we looked at yesterday, starting with value propositions and customer segments. We looked at channels, customer relationships, revenue streams today, key resources. So we completed 6 core building blocks. You have enough substance to build a business model now. Tomorrow we cover key activities, key partners and cost structure, and that will be the culmination of business model canvas. That will be half mark point tomorrow. After that we have 2.5 more days, which we will spend exclusively on how to innovate this business model through the lens of the example you came up with. We'll use similar examples, real life examples, to see where you can leverage and learn from. Okay? And by doing so, we are critiquing and criticizing our own model and learning by comparison. Okay? And debating as a group. So far you have done little group work. From tomorrow I would say you'll do more and more group work and discussion. Okay? So every time you finish a block or you start a block, you start questioning the key aspects that I mentioned. In each slide you'll have the key questions you have to ask. At the same time, think about how other businesses are doing in this particular block. What are the customer relationships for example, Amazon? Okay. What are the channels for, let's say, a corner shop? Okay. And so on. You have to always apply this and learn physically, right? Finally, we'll end with this slide. So this is called the magic triangle of business model innovation. Okay. It has 3 parts. One is the value proposition part, which is what do you offer to the customer? This question you are answering by looking at your value propositions, right? And how would you come up with brilliant value propositions? Using your value proposition canvas. You first look at what are the pains and what more gains customers want. Ultimately, what are the jobs they want you to do for them. Okay? Then accordingly you deliver products and services. You come up with pain relievers and then gain creators. Okay? The left hand side is catering to the right hand side with the fit. Okay? This is the value side, this is the customer side. So what is this who part? Who are you providing services to? That is your customer segments or target customers, right? Right? You have target customers and you're segmenting those customers also. That is very important. Your value proposition cannot be a one-size-fits-all model. It has to be customized for different segments. Then, how is the value proposition created? So today we looked at key resources. How will you use these key resources to create this value proposition? Okay. How will you use channels to reach out to customers? How will you use or build customer relationships, right? And why question, okay? That is the revenue model part. What is this about? What kind of revenue streams will you build? Okay, heart is the customer to reach out and to get blood back from the heart. What kind of revenue streams will you build? How thick should be the artery? Okay, and you're talking about your cost structure also, which we will cover tomorrow. So this is the sort of magic triangle for business model innovation. You need to change at least 2 parts of this, not 1 part. If you simply think about how to change your value proposition, that alone is not sufficient. You need to at least change 2 of these in whichever combination to hit the mark on being innovative. Okay, that is the sum and substance of our discussion so far. Now we will spend roughly 15 to 20 minutes, depending on what appetite you have now, focusing on mural. So all of you open your mural. I'm here to come down and check how you're doing. So start building on. If you want to take this work outside classroom, feel free to do so, but after 15 minutes, okay? I'll see how this is going and then I'll let you go. You built your value proposition canvas, I saw that. 3 groups here. Start with the value proposition canvas first. I want you to list out what are the pains of the customers, okay, and what jobs they want done. I might have given you quite a lot of Western examples. Try and translate that to Indian examples. There are quite a few good models, business models in India, which you can translate that to. Did you all get yesterday's slides by email? You should have, but we'll send both of these set of slides. Suggest you to do is go back and spend some time as a group, even though you can't meet physically, you can meet remotely, and then work on your canvas. Develop it to an extent where tomorrow I'll have about 15 minutes spent on looking at each of your canvases, and then we can sense check where we are, take some feedback and improve it further. But tomorrow at the halfway point, we will conclude the business model canvas, then we'll step into another gear, much faster gear, where we are looking at how to improve this existing business model. Okay? So for now, I think it should be enough, okay, for today. So jolly good, well done. I'll see you all tomorrow, same time at 9:30, okay? We'll try and start a bit early on time tomorrow. Good luck, see you all tomorrow.
Thank you.